so welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, AD744. So today, guys, we're doing our debate show for the main channel, of course. And today's topic is what rules should we change in football? So I am joined by two guests, Rank and Mats. I don't think introduction need to be said because these guys have been pretty much regulars on the channel. So, like I said, man, there's that. So, yeah. So, take it away, man. Rank and Mats, man.
Yeah. Well, this is a very interesting debate show because obviously we all love football. It's our favorite sport. I don't think that's something that we need to address, but it's clear that the sport is not perfect, and we have come up with some suggestions as to how to make it better.
Yeah. I know. I forgot to mention, I'm going to be like the mediator, referee, sort of, I guess you can say. And then maybe I'll play devil's advocate role, maybe. So I'm not going to really choose any side. And maybe just play devil's advocate just for the argument's sake, you know, to make things interesting. And by the way, I have not heard about the rule changes before this. So everything you guys are hearing, it's on live. Like, this isn't like scheduled, pre-recorded, whatever. Like, so it should be interesting for this discussion. So yeah, Mats, take it away. So Mats, man, give yourself an introduction. We can start, I guess.
Yeah, very happy to be on here. As Rank said, we love the sport, and usually we only have complaints because we want the game to be the best it can be. And I'm also trying to get the word out there about that show, the show, to get more viewers.
Yeah, we only have one person here in the chat. So shout out to Liquid Ether, dude, man. Says hello. I'm the only guy watching. Well, I think more people will join as the stream goes on. Hopefully, at least. If not, that sucks. So, but yeah. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna hopefully more people just join as the stream goes on. I guess that'll definitely help, and maybe you guys can also retweet as well. That might also help as well. On Twitter, of course, or should I call it X?
And now I'm gonna. Yeah, I have done that, and now I'm sharing it via YouTube.
Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and get started. So, who wants to start first, Rank or Mats? I'll let you guys decide. Whoever goes first, doesn't matter to me.
I'd prefer to go first, but I do also want to let you make the call.
No, you can go first.
Yeah, okay, let's let Matt go first, I suppose.
Okay, so when changing a rule, one thing you've got to change the rule with the intention to make the game better. And most of the rules have stayed as they are because they're great rules, they're simple to understand. I suppose my option is a rule within a rule, and that's about out goalkeepers going off the line. Now, when it comes to goalkeepers going off the line and saving the penalty, I'm okay with that. But one I think shouldn't be there is when the player misses the target and the goalkeeper, but the penalty he takes because the keeper's off his or her line. And I think this is stupid because it's not the fault of the keeper that the penalty doesn't go in. Yes, you can say that the goalkeeper could be putting off the penalty taker, but like with a handball rule, it can be very subjective unless it's clear and obvious. And I think that's just opening a can of worms. I've seen this happen about 3 times. One in the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup when Wendy Renard hit the outside of the post with her penalty against Nigeria. And that penalty was retaken. Well, in fact, all these examples were retaken and scored. One game I was personally involved with, the penalty got skied and it got retaken. And there was another one, I believe it was Manchester United versus Crystal Palace during the lockdown era when Zaha hit the crossbar and there, and that penalty was retaken. Sorry, there's some background noise outside. But where was I? The big difference between a penalty retaken or a penalty save as opposed to a penalty going over is the penalty doesn't go in because the keeper is the specific reason as to why the penalty is not scored. But whereas the penalty not going in, but missing the target, that goes, the blame falls on the penalty taker's shoulder, and I think they should be the one that has to take whoever's taking has to be the one to take the consequences, not the goalkeeper. So that's my pick and that's my argument.
All right, that's an interesting choice. I also agree with you that I don't really like the goalkeepers thing. I think that's it's a bit harsh. So Matt, can you actually summarize your point, because you said a lot and I was kind of doing some other stuff. Just summarize real quickly.
So the thing I want to change is penalties shouldn't be retaken when sorry, more background noise. My thing is the penalty shouldn't be retaken if it goes off target, even if the goalkeeper goes off his or her line. Is there anything else you wanted me to add, or?
Oh, okay. Now I understand. Okay, so yeah, that I agree with. I actually agree with. I think that's actually a sensible rule. Like, if it's off target, why retake it? It doesn't make sense. So what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with that? Let's do a quick vote. Let me do a poll, actually. Actually, we'll barely have anyone. So I'll just ask a panel. So, Adam, what do you think?
How are you guys doing?
Okay, so cool. Let me. So basically, Matt's suggested that if the penalty is off target, the penalty shouldn't be retaken if the keeper's off their line. Do you agree with that rule? Do you agree with the Matt's suggestion?
Yeah, if it's off target, yeah, I completely agree. That's sometimes silly, man.
Yeah, what do you think, Rank? Do you agree?
Even if it hits the goal frame, even if it hits the post, I think that's not enough to warrant a retake.
Yeah, it has to be on target. Like, keeper has to make a save.
I also make a suggestion
Exactly.
that people that run into the box ahead of time to retake the penalty, I feel like that also is kind of silly. Like, it shouldn't be something that should be timed.
Yeah, Rank, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that Matt's made a lot of great points. I mean, he did mention that maybe
are we gonna add Rank into the conversation?
That maybe the person taking the penalty gets, off his nerves if the keeper is off the line, and maybe that causes him to miss the penalty. But I don't think it makes any sense. Like, the goalkeeper is already at such a disadvantage on a one-on-one situation from a penalty kick that it doesn't make sense to give the attacker any more advantage. And yeah, if the keeper just follows the rules, and then even if they step off the line and is the one taking the penalty, the one who misses it, it doesn't make sense that it needs to be retaken.
Yeah. Also, another thing I don't like about the retake is that I don't think it's fair that you have a different player retake the penalty. I feel like if that person missed the penalty, it should be that same person. You can't change the player might be. I don't agree with that.
I have a rule that I believe that
I see the logic in that.
I have a rule that should have never been implemented ever, and is letting offside plays continue when it's a blatant offside. There are referees that just let the play go on and can actually cause injury to a certain player because they didn't call back the call when they actually was offside. That's one of the rules that actually frustrates me a lot. So I feel like if there's an offside, then call it. Like letting the play go on can just be an absolute disaster. So that's one of the reasons I say.
Yeah. Before we get to that one, what do you guys think? Should you be allowed to change your penalty taker if you miss a penalty? And normal time.
No, I don't think so.
Like if it's not a penalty shootout, then yes, but
No, not a
I'm
shootout.
with,
I mean, it's
I'm
like,
with
I mean,
you, AD, on that.
normal time, then no, of course not.
yeah, I don't know why it's allowed. Then Tukule's argument, yeah, I agree. I agree. Like if it's offside, you stop it. You don't allow it to continue. It's just really unnecessary, and it causes confusion. The players keep continuing as if it's not offside. So it's just really dumb. And then they have to go to the VAR check and then realize, oh wait, it's actually offside this whole time. And then you could have just saved so much time just calling it, earlier. Yeah, Rank, do you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well.
Yeah, Matt, do you agree?
I can sort of agree if the officials aren't completely sure, but if they know it's offside, then the flag should be raised.
Yeah. Man, we're having a lot of agreements. It's not really in line.
I think it's mostly because we've been making sensible suggestions so far. I mean, probably later on, I plan to bring some more controversial options, and maybe there we can have a debate.
Okay.
Thrown
Yeah, Rank,
offside goals should be allowed. I mean, handball goals. Like I'll give you an
Rank.
example. You see the one when Benzema controlled it with his arm, like it was like not the arm, but close to the shoulder area.
Oh, I remember. I think that was against Valencia.
Yeah, I think that normally would be given as a goal. It would be a handball, but I feel like in general that should just be an option you should have. Like it's just for the fun of it. But that's a controversial one. But I don't know.
Let's hear
To me,
Rank's
it just
idea.
looks cool.
Let's say Rank's idea. Ranks hasn't spoken yet, so.
Okay, so there are two ideas that I wanted to bring up here in this debate. And the main one, and one that I don't hear talked about nearly enough, is about the clock. I actually think that the clock should stop if the ball is out of play, like it happens in pretty much every other sport, because it just doesn't make any sense to have the clock continue even when the game is not being played. And football is pretty much the only sport that uses stoppage time, which is just a suggestion that the referee makes as to how much time should be added based on how much he thinks the ball was out of play, which is just a stupid rule because the referees are always off with that suggestion, and there is never a case of stoppage time where both teams are happy with how much time there's added. At times, one team is really mad and one is content, and most of the times, both teams are mad about how much stoppage time was added. One would suggest that it's too little, and the other team would say that it's too much. So stoppage time doesn't really make any sense, and the clock should stop because it just there's no negatives to it. Like if you stop the clock every time the ball goes out of play, there are no downsides to that. You have a fair amount of time that the game is being played, and it's always consistent, and it's always the same for every single game, and you completely eliminate time wasting. Just like that, time wasting stops existing in football if you just stop the clock when you're not playing the game.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, ask away.
So will the time stop even for fouls and free kicks and corners? Like
yes, every time. Every time you're not playing, the ball is not moving, it's not rolling, the clock has to be stopped. Like someone has to manually stop the clock every time the ball is not rolling, because it doesn't make any sense. And like that, you eliminate time wasting from throwings, from goal kicks, from free kicks, from players laying on the ground pretending to be injured, from players walking out of the pitch when they are being subbed out instead of running. Like you eliminate all of that. You eliminate time wasting, and you eliminate the suggestion that the referee has to make about how much time was actually lost. And my suggestion was that, playing a full 90 minutes with the clock being stopped would be too much. So I would change the games to be two halves of 30 minutes instead of 45. for a total of 1 hour of playing time, with the clock being stopped. And you may say, "Oh, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of less time. Only an hour games sounds really short." But actually, when you look at the stats, the Premier League is one of the leagues that has less time wasting across Europe. They play 55 minutes of football. The Premier League average game runs for 55 minutes instead of the full 90. So actually 60 minutes makes a lot of sense with the clock stopping. And my sister actually did a test during the last game of the Argentinian league between Boca Juniors and Godoy Cruz. We were watching that game and she did a test. She paused the clock like anyone would when the ball was out of play. The first half, the ball was only in play for 18 minutes. You know how much stoppage time was added? 3. Like a total of 22 minutes of football were played in the first half of those 48, which doesn't make any sense. So I personally suggest that the clock should be stopped and that there should be 2 halves of 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be hard anyway to what is it called? Do it like it wouldn't take a like it would just be like a simple change. And like I agree with you, Rankin. Like every other sport does it. You know,
I'll give you. There's an example of a certain group that is implementing this stoppage style, and it's the Kings League. I don't know if you guys watched Gerard Piquet's Kings League before. These guys actually do the stoppage thing, like when someone is injured or changes or what, the time actually stops. And when you watch it, like it works so well and it's so organized. And you can tell that you can't have a Fergie time moment where, like, the referee adds the extra time and he goes beyond it because he feels like 2 more minutes should be added on. All these nonsense, like shout out to Honduras being robbed by Mexico because of the Fergie time. So stuff like that. Bro, this is one law that I've been begging for a long time. Like, stop the damn clock so Getafe can start crying every minute, like diving and kicking us up. Like, it would be so good, man. We will recuperate all the time on the ball, and I swear it would be a better spectacle because we're hardly seeing the ball moving nowadays. Like it's disgusting. I think last time Barca versus Getafe, I think we only played like 40 minutes of football because either Getafe is diving or they're kicking us around. So this is I feel like the reason why it won't change is because I feel it's also a part of how corrupt football is. Like, they will never implement such a drastic rule like this because certain teams, for some weird reason, get magically extra time, and the other team that isn't that popular, they tend to, they don't give them the time they need to either make a comeback or something. Like, it's crazy. But if you add this rule, it would literally a lot of people wouldn't like it, like guys on the higher position of power in FIFA. This is my what I think. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can implement it in the future though.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is that I think it's a good idea because I went to like an American football game recently for my college, and they did stoppage time. They stopped the clock when the ball was out of play, and they actually kept track. And it's just really weird that football or soccer, as is, whatever, right, is the only sport that doesn't do that, right? Every other sport in the world they actually stop the clock, which I think is really weird. Do you guys think it's weird?
Definitely, yeah. Which is why, like, I'm pushing for this idea to actually get utilized, because we've seen a lot of ideas from FIFA to counteract.
Kind of.
I don't
know if you're.
Yeah, we can hear you, Mats. There's been a lot of ideas from FIFA to actually counter time wasting. Like at the World Cup, we saw like 14 minutes of stoppage time being added. We see that they are making players who are being subbed out live from the side of the pitch they are closer to. We are seeing all these changes, but it all gets solved if you just stop the clock. Like, you don't need to come up with any crazy ideas. If you just stop the clock, the players don't have any incentive to actually time waste because it doesn't do anything. I don't understand why they wouldn't go for that.
Yeah, it's just I think kind of to what Kulo's point, I just feel like for me the bigger clubs will get favored, right? And I just feel like even though it's a simple change, I feel like they won't be on board with this because they're going to add I don't know. To be honest, I just don't think they'll be on board for this for some reason. And they'll rather just add insane amount of stoppage time, which is also another frustrating thing because especially when you're having like a slender lead, like a 1-0 lead, it makes it very nervy, dramatic.
That's it. That's my issue with the English pundits, because I remember Nagelsmann suggested one rule for the future is that managers should be able to have at least one player on the pitch with a microphone, like a mini microphone headset, so they can give instructions. Like the most intelligent player on the pitch can lead the team. That was one of his suggestions. He got attacked by ESPN pundits so much for suggesting a more modern idea, and I was like, why is this so controversial? Why are you so against changing new things for the game? This is why like the English media, almost the entire media that is controlled by these large companies, but they are heavily against adjusting certain things in the game, like especially that stoppage time and stopping the clock. Like it's gonna take something drastic, like a lot of clubs are gonna have to go against it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Or
I want to hear Matt's thoughts, and then I want to say something else.
Okay. Matt, give your thoughts, man.
Okay. I do support the idea of stopping the clock when the ball goes out of play. The only two things I would say is it really worth for moments where the ball briefly goes out of play and then restarts, like a throw in or a quick goal kick? Is it really worth stopping and then restarting the clock just for moments like that? And then the other thing is that I don't know how much I agree with this, is to what extent, but I can at least try and play devil's advocate on this. One thing stopping the clock can do, or one thing stopping the clock can minimize, or we'll put it this way. In a scenario like managers arguing with each other, if the clock stopped, then that kind of encourages them to go on for endless arguing. Whereas at least keeping the clock going can at least be an encouragement to some extent to let the game continue. I can definitely get on board with stopping the clock, and even within the added time itself, I do support adding time on for time wasting, which to Renk's point, that wouldn't need to happen. And I will just say to Ule, for something like Mexico versus Honduras, that was there were examples of time wasting there. And to be honest, the only thing I think Honduras were robbed by was the fact that there wasn't a protocol to the racist chanting in the Mexican stands.
Yeah, but my issue is that we actually passed beyond shouldn't have been at 2 minutes at a time, because I felt like the game was in play for majority of the extra time. It actually surpassed by a minute and a half. That's all Mexico had a time to make the comeback. That literally it was such a.
But there was also time wasting within that added
time.
time.
The time wasting was there, but the thing is, the time had already passed. Like they added extra time beyond the referee already had it 2 minutes, and the 2 minutes already passed, and the game continued on playing. And when it was already supposed to be out, and the game would already had to be finished. But regardless of that game and the racist chance, to be honest, Honduras did the same thing.
Sort of going down another rabbit hole here.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole. But regardless, I'll say stopping the clock for me, it would benefit a lot of the big teams and a lot of La Liga teams that are complete terrorists, like Getafe. I don't know why I'm going after them today. No, they won't be able to do their dirty tactics. They have zero intention of playing football. The main objective is to get a draw. So they try to park the bus, create a lot of fouls, kill a lot of time. The goalkeeper holds up play, and for me, that is just really bad for the league. That type of tactics, because nobody want to watch that. Like, unless you're a Getafe fan, you live in the local area. But me as a spectator from far, far away, like time wasting, fouling, um, it's such a. I think it will be easily fixed just by stopping the clock.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I think Rank should address what Matt's questions were.
What were the questions again?
Yeah, Matt, can you repeat those again if you don't mind?
So one was is it really what in scenarios where there's going to be scenarios like that be really worth stopping the clock and restarting for? And then the other one, what was the other one? Oh, it was about in examples when the game gets stopped for various matters. It could be managers arguing. It could be what, or even players arguing, or any other scenario that disrupts the game via the people involved, and in examples like that, the clock going is more of an encouragement to continue the game. As I said, I don't know how much I agree with that. I'm more of, hence why I'm playing the devil's advocate side of that. But they're the two questions I had.
Yeah. No, in any scenario where the game is like not going on, the clock should be stopped. Even if there's an argument between managers or players, the clock should stop. Basically, because if we were to change the rule so that every time the ball is out of play, the clock stops, but it can continue going if there's an argument, then that just encourages the teams who are losing, or rather the teams that are winning or the teams that are getting a result, to start a fight just to waste time. So like they just invent a new way of time wasting if we allow the clock to continue running in any situation. So no, if the game is not being played, if the ball is not rolling, the clock should not continue to play, even if it's just for an argument. No, it just encourages the team that is being benefited from the result to start a fight to like let the clock run out. So no, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I don't really like the idea that FIFA just adds more an insane amount of stoppage time. I don't think that actually
And
helps.
I suppose. And I suppose
I think it'd be easier.
In the case of fighting, for example, you can book players or coaching staff as a means to encourage them to continue with the game. I'll save the next thing for after AD's talks.
I have a question for you guys. Should a clear dive in the penalty box be given a straight red?
Wait. Before we get into that, I want to say something with this.
Yeah, yes or no question.
Well, I wanted to finish this topic first, and then we can move on to the next one.
Lucky.
Okay.
And I've got something else to say after, which is to do with what Reg said after you speak.
Yeah, I just don't really think if you adding that same amount of stoppage time does anything. In fact, I actually think it makes it worse. because like we know a lot, because a lot of play in stoppage time is also wasted too. They're also time wasting stoppage time as well, just to like go purposely slow. I see goalkeepers take a long time to do a goal kick. I see players manage to do substitutions just to eat up the clock time. Like I just think what Rank said is better. Just stop the clock. You don't have to have 20 minutes of stoppage time. It's ridiculous.
Yes, and one last thing about this topic. One last change that I would like to see, if this ever comes true, what stopping the clock and having 2 halves of 30 minutes in football, if this ever comes true, I also want to see a rule implemented from other sport. This is a rule that's present in rugby, and that is that the game doesn't end until the ball is out of play, which I think it's a really cool idea, and it's an amazing replacement for stoppage time. So basically, if a team is losing by a single goal and the clock runs out, like we reach 60 minutes, the game should be over. But if they have the ball, the game is allowed to continue until the ball is out of play. So technically, the team that is losing can still find an equalizer if they manage the ball well and they manage to create a chance. They'll have one last shot at getting that equalizer. And meanwhile, the team that is winning will be trying to get the ball back to just throw it out of play and end the game. So I think that's a really cool rule that's currently in rugby that could really be implemented if we ever see this thing happen where the clock stops.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster, bro.
I think that could work. The only thing is, I feel like the players would need to know when and the time reaches that point.
Yeah, I mean, in rugby, don't you have like a buzzer beat, or you literally have the score giant on the screen?
You know what I'm seeing in that scenario? A lunging
a buzzer's a good example.
Whoever is gonna have that ball in that 90 minutes is definitely getting injured, because that person's gonna be like, a lunging tackle, give me that ball back, I'll kick it out the line. it'll be especially
but it makes that last minute so much exciting.
I know, but there's gonna be a high risk of something crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go read some. Should we read some comments?
I do want to say one. Yeah, I do want to say one thing about the 30 minutes thing. That I don't agree with. That's just changing the basics of the game. Whilst I do think it can work without the added time, as well as
he froze.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, let's just look at some comments. All right. Okay. I'm done with La Liga. Ooh, interesting. Look at the news says back. All right. Based on what FIFA are doing with the pens these days, I say yes. What I would mainly change is goalkeepers should be allowed to do mind games again, penalties. Otherwise, there's no fun in penalty shootouts.
Yeah, bro. Like Emi Martinez made that popular. Like, bring that shit back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's anything. It's not like he destroyed. Like, it's not like, what is it called? Like he physically assaulted the players, whatever.
I mean, the Colombian brothers were talking big as well. So why can't the goalkeeper do the same? Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, Matt, are you back?
Yeah. The other thing I'll just quickly say is that the extra 15 minutes does also add to the challenge of and a test to the player's mentality of seeing out a game. But there's not much to say on that. It's just I don't think it's necessary if you're also taking away the added time.
Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think about this? Do you guys agree with this? Should goalkeepers be allowed to do mind games?
Definitely, yeah. Like I said earlier, the goalkeeper is already at such a disadvantage. There's no reason why they shouldn't try to increase their odds of saving a penalty. And even if like they are allowed to play mind games, it's the person's taking the penalty's fault for falling for that. They should try to keep calm and not be affected by it. It's their fault
That's
if
what I
they
was
get
gonna say.
affected by the mind games.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And like I said, now I do think some goalkeepers do a bit too excessive. Like obviously Emi Martinez is probably a good example. I think he it was a penalty that was missed against Aston Villa in Manchester United versus Aston Villa. And he celebrated like crazy, but that was more the celebration that was weird.
Well, but players are allowed to celebrate when they score a penalty. Why aren't goalkeepers allowed to celebrate when they save one?
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just the way he did the celebration. I didn't really like, but but yeah. Anyways,
Jordan
actually, it's not really
Pickford's
related
another
to my games.
example. Jordan Pickford as well. He celebrated the 2 penalties he saved against Italy and against Colombia. One of the tactics he did on the 5th penalty was he touched the crossbar and made it wobble. And I see no problem with that. It's down to the players whether they respond to it, and big game players with the right mentality, and even any players with the right mentality, they don't let it phase them.
I like to add a point. So if goalkeepers are not being allowed to apply pressure or taunt, then football, the attacker shouldn't be allowed to celebrate either, because it seems so stupid that you're gonna take away the goalkeeper's most clutch and exciting moments away from them. And they have every right to apply any tactics they want to put the attacker in this uncomfortable position. For me, this is another sign that this is a group of guys that are just making the game a little soft. Like, keep the banter and the taunting in football. That's what makes it fun and exciting. There's hardly any goalkeeper doing the type of taunting. It's a personality trait. Like certain goalkeepers just have that aura that they'll try to get you off guard. So for me, the fact that they're not being allowed to express themselves is so sad, man, for this generation.
Yeah, and also to Liquid's point, I'm pretty sure I've seen attackers do mind games too to the goalkeepers.
I mean, Neymar does it all the time. Why is it?
So like if you're not gonna allow goalkeepers not to do it, you should not allow attackers to do it as well. Yeah, like I don't agree with that. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to keep the same agenda. You got to keep
as long as you're not harassing anybody, then I think everyone's free to celebrate.
Yeah. Oh, ranks rule changes. Good. 38 minutes of added time is to be gone. Jeez, 38 minutes. What's the most added time you guys have seen in your life in a football match?
21 in the AFCON competition.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. That game was
I think I remember a league game here that was suspended, not suspended, but like delayed after some moments, but the clock kept ticking, and so when the game resumed, they had to resort to stoppage time, and there were like 22 minutes added or something.
Yeah, I think it was probably like a World Cup match. I don't really exactly remember which World Cup match. It was probably some World Cup match. There was like 14, 15 minutes. I forgot which one it was. I'll probably say something from the World Cup.
I know England versus Iran had a lot of added time, and I know that because I was there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good example. I forgot about that match. That's a good point, because the injury to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So, wait, what were you going to say?
I know for Hamburg's relegation, there was a lot of added time, but that was down to crowd trouble.
Yeah, I'll say in La Liga, there was a mid-table match where it went to 16 minutes. That was mainly because people were jumping over the fence and everything. It was such a mess. I think it was Mallorca versus, I think it was Alaves. It was way back then. It was such a chaotic moment, man. But then there've been so many like extensive ones. Like I remember even for Barca. Remember the old lady that got like a heart attack in the match against Cadiz? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Had a pretty long extra time. I think it wasn't even broadcast on the television. Like, it went off air. You didn't even get to see the goals. of Lewandowski and I think it was Ansu Fati.
Yeah, and that kind of like I feel like it kind of changed the game. Like whenever you add so much stoppage time in a game, it kind of also kind of changes the game, right? Do you guys agree?
It does.
Yeah. Albert says, "Big up AD, Matt, and Rank. Thank you for joining, Albert. I hope I can see you later today for the member stream."
Albert. Great to see you.
Yeah. Look what Ether says. I agree with Rank. Controversially adding time and time waste will be gone if they do that. Here's a star for Rank. Here you go, Rank. Here's a star. Yeah. It's just weird. Now I will say to devil's advocate, to this argument, if we did, let's say stop the clock, this kind of stuff, then we wouldn't get a lot of late dramatic winners, right? If you do this, right, it wouldn't be as dramatic, right?
Well, that's why I wanna add the rule where the game doesn't stop until the game doesn't end until the ball goes out of play after you reach after the full time goes on.
Oh, you said that. Okay, I guess I misheard. So sorry, I didn't actually hear that part. I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I really don't like how referees end the game when like there was still play going on. You know.
Oh, what happened to Man City recently was crazy.
Yeah, like for me, like the play should stand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt.
Wait. Okay, actually, I'll wait.
I don't mind the answer either way, but in a scenario where a team's 2-0 up, or even bigger, and it's the end, would we even need to have the ball going out to end the game at that point?
Yeah, because maybe that one goal that the team who is losing can get may matter if they are down to goal difference or whatever. Like it may matter. Just continue playing until that's the last result gets through.
Yeah. Do you guys agree with me though? Like if the game shouldn't end if there's a play that's still going on.
Yeah, that's basically why I tried to add that rule as well as stopping the clock.
Yeah. I guess that kind of goes along with your point. Yeah, and Kool-Aid just gave a good example. Man City versus Spurs. I think Holland was there was a Man City there was still play going on. The referee just stopped it.
It was such a crazy incident. I know we're still in the stoppage time thing, but I think there's another rule that really pisses me off because it's so inconsistent. And I've seen a certain team benefit off of this. You know, when a team scores you take a long range shot from outside the box, but there's this one attacker around the penalty box, but he isn't blocking the view of the goalkeeper, and the goal isn't given. I think that's a rule that pisses me off because it only should be implemented if the guy was in front of the goalkeeper blocking his view. If he's beside him and he doesn't interfere in play, I don't think it should be given a.
Do you have any examples of this? Because I don't actually.
Real Madrid against Real Betis. It was a tight league competition. I think Real Betis took a long range shot, and the guy wasn't even in Courtois' way. He wasn't even blocking his view, but he was in an offside position. The ball didn't touch him. The ball went in the net, but then they said it was interfering with the vision of the goalkeeper, even though he was way in the other angle and Courtois saw the entire thing because he dove the right way. It was just a perfect shot. That's a rule that always pisses me off. I think it's so inconsistent. I feel like it's silly. Should be implemented if he's literally in front of him, like blocking his view. But that guy wasn't blocking.
Yeah, and you usually don't see that. So.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. There are times where they are a bit too strict about that rule because definitely any player that is on the offside position is obviously out of position, but if they are not doing anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the outcome. So as long as them being there doesn't change the outcome of the play, the goal should stand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen goals also be disallowed if the player is offside and doesn't even interfere with play. That doesn't even make sense in my opinion.
They said that they're blocking the keeper's view when majority of the strikes are like the position they're in, they're not doing it, which is crazy. What? That's a rule
Yeah.
that I disagree with.
Yeah, and Matt. So what would you do? You agree with Kool-Aid?
Should look at the rest of the comments.
No, do you
I think
agree with Clay?
Rank's
And then we'll get to
answer
the
was
rest of the
pretty
comments.
much. I was just saying that I think Rank's answer was pretty much. I wouldn't change anything from what he said.
All right. Time wasting is an important tactic.
Yeah, for analytical fine.
Liquid Ethereum are kind of dumb. Yes, Kool-Aid. Mexico would have beat the Netherlands easy.
Who?
He's talking about the 2014 World Cup. You remember the 2014 World Cup when Mexico played against Netherlands? Netherlands controversially won that game.
Oh yes, that game right there. Yeah, Mexico.
I mean, didn't Netherlands equalizer come in the 88th minute?
Yeah, I think Netherlands Wait, what? No, wait. Did they equalize from the penalty, or was it before the penalty?
No, the penalty was the winning goal.
Oh, the penalty was a winning goal.
I think so. Anyway.
Wait, was the penalty the winning goal, guys?
I need to.
I think it was the winning goal.
It was. Snyder had equalized like in the 89th, I believe.
Wow. Interesting. I guess we never know, man. I guess we never know to this day. And we could have had a Mexico versus Costa Rica quarterfinal. That'd been crazy. And we would have been guaranteed a CONCACAF Nations semifinals. That'd been awesome. Albuquerque says, I think that last rule is a good idea. It happens every all the time. It's exciting. Oh no, we lost Matt's. Matt's back. Goalkeeper mind games equals red men. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The Australia goalkeeper. That's also another example. I forgot about that. And against Peru in the World Cup qualifiers playoffs. Steve LFC and this is Anfield says the offside rule in EPL should be changed big time. Oh yeah, Rank. What do you think?
I mean, he later suggested that Luis Diaz was not offside in that goal that he scored against Spurs, but that didn't even have to do with the offside rule. This was just a VAR mistake because he was onside even with the current ruling. So, like the Luis Diaz example doesn't really make sense in this case because it doesn't even have to. It doesn't have anything to do with the rule having to be changed, but rather it was just a VAR mistake, and
I
they
think
even admitted that it was.
I think he's trying to because I've seen some goals, right?
Exactly
Like the shoulder's offside. No, wait, hear me out. The shoulder armpit is offside, I think, and that is counted as offside. It's that precise. I think he's talking about that. Like,
well, yeah, but then he wouldn't mention the Luis Diaz goal against Spurs. That's why.
Yeah,
like,
because I've seen goal.
He could have mentioned like the Lautaro Martinez goal against Saudi Arabia, which was literally half a shoulder. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like what do you got? I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to allude to that. If that's what I'm thinking,
I'm not exactly another example if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that do you think the offside rule like is fair, where like you have to, even if your armpit and like shoulders offside, like this part is offside, the goal shouldn't stand, or you think it should still count?
The problem with the offside rule is that you have to draw the line somewhere.
I mean, the armpit,
you always have to leave someone unhappy.
Yes.
Right, what are you saying? One speak at a time. It's kind of hard to hear when multiple people speak at once.
Okay. Well, I see Kool-Aid's gone, but the armpit, it's a bit much. But as Rank said, you've got to draw the lines somewhere, and it's definitely a difficult one to establish where generally people can be satisfied with.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I just think it's really weird, man, because I've seen EPL, like, the goals to be disallowed because someone is, like, you're literally armpit is shoulders offside, which I think is really harsh because that's so precise. And I don't think it's fair because that's not like that. You're not really getting an advantage right at that, right? Because that's the whole point of offside, right? To make sure that you don't have an advantage. So, Rank, what do you think?
Yeah. That's why, Arsene Wenger was pushing for this idea that a player should be offside only if their entire body is ahead of the attacker, of the defender. But at that point, you are also drawing a precise line somewhere, and someone still may be offside or onside by just millimeters. It's just that where you draw the line is different, but it's still a super precise and harsh line to draw. So I think that it's an interesting idea because it gives attackers, more space, and I feel like that could improve the game a bit because we would see more goals and more one-on-one situations if that rule was allowed. But you're still drawing the line somewhere, and it's still a fine margin.
Yeah, I think to play devil's advocate, they probably make that way so like attackers don't have an advantage, because if you do that technically, you'd give that attacker an advantage. So, yeah. Albert, man, this is shameless, man. Against goalkeeper mind games, it affects ideas. Otherwise, okay. That you can't do that, man. That's not fair.
They should add an asterisk, to the rule of goalkeepers are allowed to play mind games asterisk unless it's against Albert.
All right, moving on. Steve LC says this is Amphos. Diaz was not offside law. The other controversial decision. That wasn't an offside thing though. That was a VAR. That was a VAR error though. And that game was pretty controversial, and I know Rank, you were very mad from that game. Steve LC Amphos said, I want to see assists from penalties again, like Messi to Suarez. Yeah, did they are they still is that still allowed technically, or is that not allowed anymore?
No, that is allowed. Even we saw Mauro Icardi tried the same thing with Galatasaray in the Turkish league, except he freaking missed the target. But that is still very much allowed. The only thing that you cannot do is pass it backwards. Like the penalty always has to go forward. So like you can still do that, but the pass has to go forward. That's the only reason. But you still can do that.
Okay. Albuquerque said Joseph Martinez did it all the time at penalties. Epi7 Game says, hello, 744. Hello, Epi7. I think you'll be here. Albuquerque says 20 minutes at a time is fair if teams want to waste time. What's your opinion on the post rule, where if the ball hits a post and it goes to someone who's offside, it is offside? Or the rule, when a shot is taken and keeper parries it to a player, it's off. Let me see if let me reread this again.
So basically,
I'm fine either way on. I don't mind whether that rule stays or changes.
Yeah, I'm on the same fence. Basically, idea what he's saying is someone shoots from outside the box and the ball hits the post and the rebound reaches a player who's offside. Should that be offside or not?
Oh, okay, I understand now. Because the wording was, I don't know, the wording was kind of weird to me. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I think if you're initially offside and you're still offside when the thing comes, then I guess it shouldn't count. So what's the current rule?
It is like that. It is exactly like you said. I think what FP7 is trying to suggest is that if it bounces off the post, it's like if bounced off a player. So the player who was offside is no longer offside because a new play has started.
Yeah. Okay. This is a really good point. I completely forgot about this. This is a great point. Unintentional pans due to unintentional handballs. Yeah, that's a good point. I really agree with this. Because for me, hitting this part is not handball. I'm sorry, that's not handball, in my opinion. That's a shoulder.
But there are examples where even if it's unintentional, where players can have their arms far too wide out, and the ball hits their arm in the penalty area, and they may not have meant it to handle the ball, but they put their arms in a silly place.
What do you think, Rank?
I mean, I doubt any player intentionally tries to stop the ball with their hands, unless it's like Luis Suarez against Ghana. I doubt anyone does it intentionally. So I don't think intention needs to be counted for handballs. I think that you just gotta see where, if the position of the arm is too unnatural, then it should be a penalty, and if it's natural, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, like for example, like the PSG Newcastle. This is a good example for this. Like I believe it hit I think it hit Livermento's right here, right?
The elbow, yeah, but if your elbow is like this, then it's too unnatural. So like it should be a penalty. So I don't really judge intention. I don't care if you didn't intend to put your arm there. If your arm was there, then in an unnatural position, then it should be a penalty.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the whole point of handball is to not use your hand. That's basically the point. You're not supposed to use your hand in the sport. You know, only goalkeepers can do that, right? So, yeah, I feel like I agree with Rank. It's more. It doesn't really matter about intent. It's just a matter about the positioning of where the where it touches. That's more important. How about in throw-ins where the players can choose to kick the ball inside like a free kick?
No.
I mean, no, I wouldn't change that. I feel like throw-ins are a cool way to resume the play.
Yeah. Alcon says, I'd like to introduce a new handball rule that says a handball is now any part of the arm. Yeah.
That's kind of what it is now.
Yeah, it feels like nowadays, anytime it just hits any part of the arm, it's a penalty.
Shoulder is not part of the arm. Like, shoulder is not. You can play with your shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, Richarlison used his shoulders to score against South Korea.
Yeah, I think
not by scoring, but it hit his shoulders before the ball came into a striking position.
Like it helped him get the movement positioning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Alex says, I'd like to see the throw-in rule change to a kick. Albert, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Every 7 days, whoever pays a referee the most money automatically scores. All right, Albert says, I like that. Albert says, I like that rule. Every 7 days, now I disagree with that. Ammo, the part of the body offside should be the offside thing. Okay, that's fair, I guess. So, Albert said teams should be allowed to call up one legend as a star or super sub, like when Peter Cech was backup keeper at Chelsea. I don't think it's a good idea.
I don't see the problem with allowing it, but
it's not really practical.
I don't see the reason for the teams wanting to do it.
Yeah. Rank, what do you think, man? Do you agree with this, or you think it's just blasphemous or something?
I mean, I think we don't need to take this idea seriously.
Jose Apple said, "Look at Ren's goal disallowed yesterday versus
Embrace
I don't
yourself."
Get it. Oh yeah,
Sebastians will say.
Oh yeah, did you guys see what happened yesterday? That Ren's goal. Like, did you see? Yeah, that was crazy. That got disallowed. Did you see Rank?
Yeah,
do you think that was?
I don't understand.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I think I brought it up yesterday in my stream. Every 7 games, when someone does good skills, the team gets more with extra. No, the post rules should say the same. That's bread and butter for Fox and box strikers. Every 7 games, the unintentional pen depends on whether it interferes with play. Leon red card earlier today was unintentional play. He literally stopped Aurora from scoring. Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like for me, intent doesn't really matter because as Rank put it out there, like I'm sure most of us don't intend to do that. It's just that it happens to be, right? So now it just depends whether it actually interferes or not, right? Every 7 games says, all right, I got to go.
I have just seen that all our Reds did manage to get the win over Lyon.
Let's go. Too bad they're facing Man City next.
And
Too bad they're facing Man
according
City
to my
next.
app, Kante got the assist for the goal. And it does say that.
Wow. And goal, Conte. Oh man, you're just running the Conte the chance. Anyways, let me see what you're saying. Everything said, all right, I gotta go. Ali versus Etihad starting. Yeah, we'll see what happens there, man. Oh wait a minute, that's not the same Conte though. I'm a dummy. That's not the same Conte
Brace
from
yourself
France.
for this comment.
Sebastian says, could I change a rule that if a club scores against my club,
Embrace yourself for this.
my club gets a free win 3-0? All right. Let's move on. I'm gonna say, I'd like to see more players hold the ball with their chest like Dino did. Is that not allowed today? I mean, we have seen players use their chest to score the goals. It's just not as often as before because, yeah.
Like, I don't think a lot of players Messi scored a goal with his chest in the 2009 Club World Cup final against Estudiantes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it is allowed. It's just that we don't see a lot of players do it because they don't have that ball control, right? They're not as skilled as Dino is, you know? Ronaldinho. And like I said, Ronaldinho is one of the best players. One of the best, most fun players to watch. Do you guys agree?
I think top 3 for me, most fun.
Yeah, what were you, Mats?
Probably.
Yeah, 2X Enthusiast says, yo, it's me. Hello, BLE. Thank you for joining. Alkern says, how about a new war? If managers complain about ref call, they get a yellow.
That sort of does happen now.
It's pretty much happening now if you think about Rank. Rank, Mats. Not Mats, Albert, sorry.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you agree with Rank? To make it official now, I guess?
Maybe, yeah. We need less complaining in football.
Yeah. Sebastian says, oh, that's Jose Conte. He's playing for Cart. I'm going to see. Yeah, it's not the N'Golo Conte. Sorry, I thought it was N'Golo Conte. I'm such a dummy. N'Golo Conte plays for Al Ittihad. Oh, man. Yeah, my bad. At least I figured it out. Sebastian says, if Pessi scores, he should get a free penalty. I think that's a good rule. Okay. And Albuquerque says, I watch football because of Dino, best skiller.
So basically, Sebastian's suggesting a rule that's implemented in rugby, where if you score a try, then you get a penalty to get another goal.
All right.
I know he's joking, but still.
So this thing Albert said about managers complaining reminded me of another idea I had, which is that teams get one, how do you say it, one VAR challenge per game. So I don't know if you know this rule in tennis where you get challenges where you think the refereeing decision was wrong. You get you request for a challenge, and then the play is revised to see if the ball went inside or outside the court. And if you happen to be right, the point has to be retaken, and you get your challenge back. So I want to see that in football, where instead of teams complaining and whining to the referee to go check VAR, give teams one VAR check challenge, and where if they think they are correct, they ask for the challenge, and the referee has to go to look at VAR. And if the team that requested the challenge is correct, they get their challenge back. And if they are incorrect, they lose their challenge and they cannot request for a VAR check again in that game.
I think that can work in the lower leagues of English football.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the high leagues, like the Premier, the top.
Why not? Like, what's the difference?
I don't know, Matt. Maybe you can explain better than I can.
Well, I wasn't necessarily arguing against having it in the high leagues. I was just saying that.
You want to start with the lower leagues first?
Well, I was just specifically focusing on the lower leagues of English football because there's a lot of bad refereeing calls, and the referees just stick it with it. That they're too stubborn to consider that they've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think testing in the lower leagues is fine.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I have one last suggestion, which is actually a suggestion that I don't agree with. Like this, what I'm about to say is a rule that I don't want to see happen. It was actually proposed by my dad. He's been very outspoken about it because he really wants to see it, and I've always told him, no, I don't want to see it. But just because he said it, I want to bring it up here and see what you guys think. My dad thinks that goals from outside the box should count as 2 goals, similar as to
Like
3-pointers in basketball.
Well, at that I feel like
think?
Well, at that point, that's not really, because then the problem with that is that how would you like it just makes it too complicated. You have to reward different types of goal, like a basic goal, 1 point, and then what is it called, like a penalty, maybe a half point. Like you can't just do it just for long range efforts. You have to keep it consistent for all the rules. For all the
I can see why you would. I can see why you would reward it, but I don't think I would. I'd be open to having it, but it's not something I'd want to change. I'll also put this to rank, and anyone else can respond if they want to. But one of my siblings thinks, and he started feeling this way after the Suarez handball, that despite the fact he got a red card, for scenarios like the Suarez handball on the line, he thinks they should just give the goal anyway.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't think
no,
so.
I don't agree with that. If the ball didn't cross the line, it's not a goal. Even if it should have been a guaranteed goal and Suarez did something that is against the rules, he's still getting a red card because he did something against the rules.
Yeah, it's not like he didn't get the red card.
Penalty.
And it was their fault. They didn't score the penalty.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see that. I'm going back to my point about goals from outside the box. The reason he always uses is that one, it makes the game more exciting, because let's say a team is losing by 2-0 and it's like the 90th minute, most of us would think the game is over, but suddenly you can have like a buzzer beater goal from outside the box to equalize the game because it values 2 points. And you make the game more exciting that way. And he also says that the goals from outside the box are the best. So like rewarding that kind of goals only encourages players to attempt more. And that would get us a lot more goals from outside the box if players obviously start trying more, because it values more points. But yeah, I agree with what you guys said. I don't think it should be something implemented, because you would need to reward things like penalties with less goals. And I feel like the game would become a bit too boring, similar to what's happening nowadays in the NBA, where everyone has gotten so good at scoring 3-pointers that every game is just a team attempts a 3-pointer, the goal, and the other team attempts the same. And so there's no tactical plays going on. There's no intricate passes sequences. And I feel like if you just allow goals from outside the box to value 2 points, it disencourages teams to be creative with how they approach a play. And we won't see like dribbling inside the box. We won't see passing sequences inside the box. And I think that's something I don't want to see disappear, basically.
Yeah, and part of the reason why I love football so much is that it's low scoring. So whenever a goal does happen, it makes it get exciting,
Yeah.
And I just feel like for me, like if you and the thing is, so you can't just reward like long range efforts. You have to do for other types. Okay, sorry, you can continue, Matt.
In some ways, scoring from outside of the penalty area is easier than going into the penalty area where there could be a lot of defenders.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button. We're at 11 likes. Let's see if we can try to get to 15. If we can, that'd be awesome.
Before I say the next thing, I do want to just clarify with rank. Is the 30 minutes of time per half part of your time added on argument, or is that just a secondary thing? Is that just a secondary point altogether?
It comes with the argument. Like if the clock is being stopped every time the ball goes out of play, then we're going to have a lot more time going on. So 40 nowadays we have 90 minutes of football, but of those 90 minutes, rarely the full 90 minutes, if ever, get played. Just about 60 or so. So if we are stopping the clock, then we need to also reduce the time that the players actually play as well. So that's why I said 2 halves of 30 minutes.
Yeah. All right. And then one thing I want to say, last thing I want to say, I always think this is interesting. Obviously, I don't think this will ever happen. What if we did points based on how many goals you scored and how many goals you conceded? So basically, your goal difference is how many points you would have.
That's an interesting take, but I wouldn't want to see it added on. I think it would be like it would always encourage teams to score more goals and to keep and to concede less goals as well. So like it would always keep games exciting, but at the same time, it's very detrimental for the teams with lower budgets and stuff, because it heavily reduces the chances of them getting a result. So even though I feel like it would make games more exciting and it would make how you tally the points more fair, I feel like it would in the long run make football less exciting because the better teams would always win.
Yeah, what do you think, Mats?
I don't think there's a desperate need to change that.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it is already the tiebreaker anyway after points. Like a lot of cases, they do it as a tiebreaker. So, it doesn't really need to be added. I just thought it would be interesting to suggest that. Yeah. But yeah. Let's read some of your guys' final comments. We need to round off the stream very soon. All right. Which comment am I at? I'm actually kind of forgot which comment I'm at. All right. Where are we? T-Rex enthusiast says server journey late. Look, whenever I come, the viewers go up. It's a sub effect. All right. That's a good rule. Teams have to use it wisely, not wave their arms up all the time. No, well, bro, that would be cheating if you have ad. So no. Teams get the goal and the players get bragging rights for a long shot. They should be happy with that. Maybe be nominated for Puskas. Avila always tries out from the side of the box. I do think more players should take long shots, though. Some doesn't get annoyed when they only try to score inside the box. We'd have more Vincent Companies, who is true from the halfway line. Should clean sheets be added to goal difference to see who survives the group? Ooh, interesting.
Not to goal difference itself, because that's already part of the goal difference.
Yeah.
But I don't really think we should add that. Although maybe it could make sense for another part of table calculating.
No, I think he means like as a tiebreaker, right? Like after goal difference, what should the third tiebreaker be? It should be clean sheets. I think that's what he means. Correct me if I'm wrong, Albert. I think that's what you mean, right?
Maybe.
Now, do you think clean sheets should be the third tiebreaker?
Maybe, although this feels like
second tiebreaker, actually.
I mean, goal difference, points, goal difference, and head-to-head, I think, should be the main three. And then I'm in no rush to change that.
Yeah.
Before you do any more polls, I will still say that for the, and I think it's been made easier now that Kool-Aid is dropped. I can specifically focus on rank. I don't think there's a specific need to change the allocation of time per half. And having to hold on is part of the mentality, part of seeing a game out. And whilst I do agree with a lot of what you're saying on removing added time, I think there's room for debate in certain aspects of keeping. But as for I think with rewarding players to retake a penalty if the keeper goes off his line but misses the target, I see no reason to keep that at. And you're basically rewarding a player for failure.
Yeah, rank.
And also I did that rule without having to consider other sports.
Okay, rank. Do you have anything to counter that point Matt's brought up?
No, not really.
Okay. Oh yeah, just remember this. Sorry, this is the very last one, guys. Last rule that we're gonna discuss. And this is something cool I actually brought up. If you do a diving, should that be a red card?
I think a yellow
No,
card.
I think a yellow is fine.
Yeah, yellow card is fine. And also, what do you guys think? This is one I think we should bring back. UEFA needs to bring this back, and you guys know what I'm talking about. The away goals rule. I think that we should bring back. I'm in favor of away goals. Okay, now we're actually having a proper debate. Okay.
I don't mind either way, but that's more specifically towards UEFA itself, and and it doesn't really affect the other confederations.
Okay. Well, my argument for away goals is that I feel like it gives a fair advantage to both teams, and it doesn't usually, it makes it fair, right? Now, I will say though, away goals and extra time shouldn't count, right? And I also feel like away goals make it where teams shouldn't be complacent. Like if you're home, for example, if you're winning,
agree with.
Yeah, if you're winning 3-0, you should try to keep it to make it 3-0. Try to keep scoring, right? Don't just, and then if allow a team to get back, it'll be 3-1. And I don't know. I just think away goals just makes it really exciting, man.
Yeah, I mean, you say that it's fair for everyone, but it's not fair for everyone because a game has to be. You have a first leg and a second leg, so like then the schedule in like whoever gets drafted as the first team to play at home has an advantage because usually teams are more reserved on the first leg and try to go all out for results in the second leg. So the team that a 0-0 draw actually favors the home team if away goals are in play, because then a 1-1 draw away qualifies you on away goals. So like teams are basically encouraged to play more defensive at home if you have away goals in place, because it's more important at home to keep a clean sheet than it is to win the game. So I think that it doesn't help the game to have away goals because it encourages the home team to be defensive, and it also makes it so a tie can already be over way before the game ends, because if a team is leading by, let's say, 3-0 after the home game and they go on the road and score an away goal, suddenly the other team has to score 5 and the game is already over. Meanwhile, if you don't have away goals, it's actually more feasible that the game can continue and that the other team can equalize. So I really don't like away goals, and I'm happy they got removed.
Yeah, I'm not happy they removed it. I am for away goals. What do you think, Matt?
What's the reasoning for bringing them back?
I just feel like it makes it. I just feel like it makes the ties very exciting. We get to see a lot of drama, and it makes it a crazy end to end. And I just feel like.
But what does it change with their current settings? Like, what about it now makes it less exciting?
Like, I feel like with the away goals, we saw a lot more comebacks. Like last season in the Champions League, we didn't really see any comebacks.
But what do you mean you see more comebacks? Like, that doesn't really have to do with away goals, does it?
Yeah, no. Like Roma came back and like Roma did the comeback because of away goals. Like imagine they still had to continue in extra time. Like just doing 3-0 would have been not enough. And then if you didn't have away goals, it would have gone extra time. It wouldn't it just wouldn't feel like as like it just feel like okay, we still have to go through this. It's not like over.
Yeah, maybe I think it's better if you have to go through it, and you're not giving an advantage to the team who plays at home first. And I think that the best reasoning is that the home team should be the one dictating the play, but if you have away goals, you encourage the home team to be defensive. Like in that example that you said, Barcelona got punished for conceding a goal in the Camp Nou.
It should be like that.
If they had only won 3-0, it would have been better than winning 4-1 because they conceded an away goal. So they would have been better off playing more defensive than the way they did. So I feel like with away goals, you just encourage teams to be more defensive at home, which shouldn't really be a thing. You should have the initiative at home because it's the game you're supposed to win. You have the advantage of being in your ground with your people. It should be the game that you're looking forward to win, not a game that you're looking forward to keep a clean sheet.
I'm on the fence with this matter. The only thing I could say is that I don't really have any arguments from a footballing point of view, but I could certainly understand why I think, for example, in UEFA, they might want to give away fans more value for money. But then again, the football comes first.
Yeah. At least this is actually an interesting one. We actually had some agreements here, so.
I would say that with my suggestion, there's not much to argue against it, and keeping it, you're just rewarding penalty takers for failure.
Yeah. All right. Let's read some of your guys' final comments. We're going to head off. It's going to be going a bit too long in the stream. Makes sense. Back again. Yellow outside the box, red inside the box. About the away goals rule, it should be back, but it should be inapplicable in extra time. Yeah, that I agree with. It shouldn't be used in extra time. That's just my opinion. How did Van Dijk get red card for scolding at ref and Haaland didn't? Football is unfair. Rank, do you know which game he's talking about? Because I don't actually know.
I actually don't remember about this one.
I think it's Haaland versus Spurs.
Yes.
Is it Haaland versus Spurs?
Wasn't Van Dijk the one against Newcastle?
But I don't think that's more of the rule, though. That's more of the referees. I think that's more referees at fault.
Yeah. If it was against Newcastle, Van Dijk was going to get sent off anyway. I might be thinking of another game. But as far as the consistency argument, I think it's worth knowing that the referee in this case didn't have the Van Dijk situation in mind.
Yeah, I see. I like the away goals rule back. Juventus versus Atleti wouldn't have been that dramatic if not for the away rule. Yes, bro. Monaco, Tottenham won due to away goals. Yeah, the Spurs run wouldn't have been so cool without the away rule. Not to mention games against Barca, Roma, Liverpool, or Benzema super run. There should be a forfeit rule though. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously I don't think UEFA is going to bring it back anytime soon. So there's really no point in having this discussion. We're gonna miss it, man. We're gonna miss it because trust me, man. I thought it was amazing, man. It was amazing. So yeah. Anyways, I think we're gonna round off here, man. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's stream. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe. Check out the. Wait, what do you say?
If there's no more arguments, I'll ask you who won.
Let's let the audience decide that. Actually, yeah,
I mean,
audience. Who do you think made them?
I didn't
Who do they
think
made the
we
best
needed
rules
to
changes?
have a winner today. We were just debating on which rules we would like to see.
Yeah, I mean, which rules? Okay, just tell. Okay, how about we do this? Which rule
But
change do you want to see the most?
But isn't the point of debates is to have a winner?
Okay, how about we do this, Matt? How about we do
have
this? Which rule
multiple
change you want to?
winners.
The time.
Wait, how about we do this? Which rule change you want to see the most? Let's go with that. What's the best rule
Well, the one I
change? you want to see?
suggested.
Yeah,
the clock
that's a good answer.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go with rank suggestion. Albert says that's how I came late. Lol. All right. So yeah, we'll go with the rank. I guess rank's ideal one. So hope you guys did enjoy today's debate stream. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe. Let's see how many likes we're on today's stream. So I think we got to.
But AD, did you make that decision? And would you have just picked rank's rule even from the very start, or was there any influence? Because I think influence is important.
I just thought his was the best. I think he explained the best, and I think that's something that I really do want to see. Like, I really do want to see that happen in IRL. It's just not, I just want to see it really. So, but yeah, anyway, so make sure you guys like the stream. How many likes were on today's stream? So we got to 11 likes. Okay, so we reached 10, not quite 15, which is a bit unfortunate, but probably people will probably watch the replay. So yeah, remember, guys, to like and subscribe, of course. Watching the replay if you haven't already. If you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments below, and comment below your thoughts, comments below. And yeah, remember, guys, to join the member stream, guys. We're gonna have a member stream later today at around like 4 hours, 3.5 hours actually exactly. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, like I said, guys, turn on notification bell to get notified. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Barca Valencia reaction. And we better win. We better win. Let's just put it this way. All right, peace out, guys.